it's time to meet our guest.
Oh, great. Excellent.
Yeah, our guest is pretty much on all the best television shows on the air right now. AMC's Better Call Saul, FX's Golden Globe-winning show Fargo, and she recently was on Showtime's hit series Masters of Sex. Now, I believe we have a clip from Better Call Saul. Let's take a look.
You can't hide a big bag of cash forever, and you certainly will never be able to spend any of it. So, for Christ's sakes, take the deal.
If there were any money.
Lady, enough.
If there were any money, there would have to be a full accounting of it. Every penny would have to be present. Every single penny. You understand?
All of it. That includes the 30,000.
Craig, yes, he gets it.
Yeah, he gets it.
We are in this together, Mr. McGill. Come what may.
Ladies and gentlemen, Julie Ann Emery! Please take a seat, take a seat.
The chair is cushy and
I
comfy.
know, it's elevated.
I had a little bounce there.
Oh.
It was exciting.
How you doing? How's your night going so far?
Great, I just listened to Kevin Dunn.
I know.
I'm probably not supposed to say that, right?
No, you mean you listened to Kevin Dunn
Last week when I was here in the audience, I listened to Kevin Dunn,
Yeah,
and I
great
saw his
episode.
son in the audience, a handsome
that's
young
crazy.
man.
I know.
Yeah.
Julianne, you are on like all the great television shows.
Oh.
How'd you do it?
Luck. I'm not 20. I have spent a long time just putting my head down and doing good work and trying to be a nice person on set, and eventually it pays off, I guess. I don't know.
I feel like it's tough because, a lot of people move to Los Angeles and they step foot and they're like, I've made it. And
I don't think there's any such thing. I mean, I think you're always sort of looking for your next break.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone is, A-list movie stars are competing for the next big movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that quite ever ends, but I did have a really beautiful year and a half where I was just working with brilliant, brilliant people and kind people.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about it. So there's Better Call Saul.
Yes, that's Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould created the show. Bob Odenkirk, who I also worked with on Fargo, just some of the nicest, most decent human beings I think I've ever known. And in our business, temperament gets confused with talent so often, and that's not the case there. They really value talent and nice people.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like so many times people are like, oh, well, everyone's divas. You're constantly dealing with a bunch of egos.
Well, there's always like one diva, and it kind of gives everybody else a bad name. Or sometimes I think there are sets where it just doesn't get encouraged. Like the niceness doesn't get rewarded. It kind of, people get stepped on a little bit. So I think if you can maintain, some sort of decency for yourself, it'll help you in life in general, but I just don't want to be nasty.
No, I feel like there's no point in being mean.
Why?
Yeah.
Noah Hawley, also on Fargo, is a really lovely guy and a really decent guy and is brilliantly talented. So I think in life in general, it's like rah-rah the goodness,
And I feel like that bleeds into the project. Like the project itself becomes a better project because everyone's having fun doing it.
Well, it's not just fun, everybody works harder for you. I have never seen crew, cast, right down to the last grip and PA will break their necks for Vince Gilligan.
Wow.
Because he's a truly kind person. He really welcomes everyone, makes everyone feel like part of the family, part of the community, part of the process, and people will just kill themselves for him. They just will work their asses off.
When did that happen?
They're hanging themselves in the camera truck, but Vince said to do it, so no.
So after Better Call Saul, there's FX's Fargo.
Yes.
And what's that like?
It was cold. It was really cold.
Where do you guys film exactly?
Calgary.
Okay.
In the winter. So, in January, we're flying back and forth to Calgary. It's 30 below. We got shut down one day because it was 40 below and it was deemed too cold for people to be outside. Now, I'm from the South. I don't understand being outside past 0. So I was like, what's the difference between 30 and 40? It just feels cold, Like your nose hairs freeze.
Oh, no.
Have you ever had your nose hairs freeze?
I've never, but it's terrifying.
You think you're having a stroke for a minute. You're like,
really?
I don't know what's happening.
It's like when people light their arm hairs on fire. Everyone has that smell, and it's just like, you're an awful
But then, like,
person.
you look at a crew person, and you're like, something's happening in my nose, and they're like, oh, it's your nose hair's freezing.
They know? They're
and
like-
I was like, that happens?
They're like, welcome.
Yeah.
You're one of us now.
Yeah, exactly.
So after Fargo, of course, there's Masters of Sex.
Yes, I worked on Masters of Sex with Allison Janney and Tate Donovan. Thank you very much. She rocks, right? She's amazing. Somebody else who is a really great person, entertaining everybody all day, doing the work. Tate Donovan, Beau Bridges. All my scenes were with those 3 people. Adam Arkin directed my big episode. It was, I know, really. I kept kind of pinching myself, and then like bubble hair and.
From the pinching or just, oh, okay, I get
well,
it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, when you pinch yourself, you get
yourself
bubble
enough,
hair?
your hair starts to go, yeah.
So you've had like the opportunity to work with all these wonderful people.
Yeah.
You have all these credits on your resume. What's next?
There's something in the works I'm not allowed to talk about yet.
Oh,
Okay,
an
so I've had that
NDA.
year. So like I spent all of last summer, June to October, shooting Better Call Saul, shooting the Breaking Bad spinoff, and I wasn't allowed to tell anybody I was doing it. Literally, I signed 5 non-disclosure agreements. I could tell my husband, and that was it. So after Fargo, my friends would come up to me and be like, "Oh, Fargo was so great. What are you doing now?" And I was like,
did they say that with that
with
face?
that face
What are you
and
doing
with that
now?
condescension, and I would be like, "Oh, I'm working on something really great, but I can't talk about it." And they're like, "Sure you are."
Oh.
And they're like, you know?
Let me meet these people.
I have mean friends, apparently. No, but I think we're in that moment with the internet and everything where you're
totally.
not allowed to talk about things that often. I know.
No, I understand. Now,
Yeah.
Showtime, your series, Masters of Sex,
Yes.
did that just air?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
And I don't...
Did you guys see it?
We did not see it because
Oh, yeah,
we
we
do
don't.
not have
What?
cable.
You're a talk show host.
I know,
How
I-
do you do that? You interview people.
Well,
How
I-
do you do that without cable?
I called Time Warner and I was like, they tried to hook me up with a bundle and I got stuck with landline. So,
We do have a script, Julian.
what's that, Dan?
We have a Masters of Sex
But
script right here.
how did you get a script? They're like hardcore about script security. I
We
mean,
found
that's.
it.
Are you sure it's authentic?
Yeah, it
Like,
says Showtime right here. See?
Wow.
Okay.
I'm sold.
All right.
Julianne, what do you think? You want to perform some of your scenes for Masters of Sex?
I don't. 2 of my scenes, I was in bed with Allison Janney and little nighties. I don't know
You
if
tell
that's
us
a good
like
idea.
that's going to talk us out of doing it.
All right, sure. What
She's
do you
gonna
got?
do it.
All right.
Great.
What do you got?
There you go. Excellent.
All right, okay, so, Dan, you got stage directions?
Of course.
Okay, and Julianne, you be you.
Okay.
Audience, are you ready?
Okay.
Dan, take it away.
Okay, Masters of Sex Season 3, Episode 5. We open on Fargo, North Dakota. The landscape is draped in pure white snow.
I don't think this is the right script.
Dr.
This is-
William Masters approaches Joe.
How you doing, eh? Cold morning, eh?
Okay, so have you guys seen Masters of Sex?
Julianne,
it's
please.
set in St. Louis. It's not.
Stay in the scene. Amateurs.
Okay. Been a cold morning, eh? Shot a moose at sunrise.
No, Julianne, do it like I do it, eh?
With a finger mustache?
Yeah.
Okay. Been a cold morning, eh? Shot a moose at sunrise, though it could have been an elk. Met an Indian who said, oh, and I said, ah, eh?
Dr. William Masters stares off into the distance and then says,
Hometown buffets doing all you can eat shrimp, eh? Wanna come, eh?
You know I love my shrimp. Okay, that's it, guys. I can't do this.
Julianne!
Julian, this is not Masters of Sex. I mean, this is obviously like a parody of Fargo with the Masters of Sex characters thrown in.
That's
It's not-
ridiculous. Frankly, I'm offended that you would make such an insinuation. Apologize to Dan.
She's right, Julianne.
Dan, you're a son of a bitch. I'm sorry, Julianne.
No, I'm sorry. I wrote this spec script for Fargo and I thought I could pass it off for Masters of Sex.
Oh, Noah Hawley writes all 10 episodes of Fargo.
Well, what's your point?
What, they don't hire outside writers for that show.
So?
So it's maybe not the best show to do a spec script for.
No clue what you're talking about.
Look. Dan worked hard on the script. Let's at least finish the scene. There's a few more lines.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Dan,
Dr. Masters stares deep into Joe's eyes. Deeper.
What do we do now, Joe?
I guess we... Guys, come on. This.
What do we do now, Joe?
I guess we better call Saul.
Hey! Julie Ann Emery, everyone! Thank you for watching After Dark with Julian Clark. Subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and join us for our next live show come September 20th. Julie Ann Emery, everyone! Thank you to Second City Hollywood and Golden Road Brewing for After Dark. I'm Julian Clark. Good night! After you, my lady. Fantastic. You guys were great. Thank you.
I thought my bed was much too big, but I was wrong. Like Goldilocks, it just feels